Hello, hello. What's up? What's up? It is a new day, it is a new week, and it's time to get social. My name is Kayvana, and welcome to the Introvert's Social Hour. Hello, hello. Welcome to the Introvert's Social Hour. I am so excited to talk about what we are talking about today. And as you know, you clicked on it. We're talking about the Tony Awards 2024. This is for the theater peeps, all the theater peeps, musicals, plays, all of the above, for the dancers, the singers, the directors, all of the above. So we're going to be talking about it. We're going to be jumping in. I do want to like talk about some pre things and in regards to like nominations, etc. And then we're gonna talk about what actually happened in the night. And if you are caught up and you know exactly what went down per, and if you didn't want to watch and you're just like, I just wanted to find these recaps, then welcome. My name is Kivana and I'm incredibly excited to talk about it. I am a dancer, but I'm also a musical lover. I've been doing musicals, or I did musicals in college, nothing professionally yet, but I am allowed to, love all things musical related. And then I also do dabble in plays here and there as far as like loving them and being interested in them. And we're going to talk about that. I didn't get to see too many plays this year, too many musicals this year yet, but we're going to talk about the ones I was able to see and I can give you a little personal opinion on versus the ones that I haven't seen and I'm curious to see in the future. So, going right in, I just want to drop some stats that they did drop for the Tonys. They had 36 new productions with about 14 plays and musicals opening in the last 3 weeks of April 2024. I'm not surprised about that. I didn't know the exact number, but there was a lot. There was a lot happening in April. There were so many shows. I literally was wondering how the heck the Tonys would go on. And we kind of see how that kind of rolled out. And we're going to talk about which shows kind of got the spotlight and which shows didn't. And I'm very curious to see what's going on here. I will say that knocking it out the box, we had Stereophonic with the most nominated play in history with 13 noms. The Outsiders nominated with 12 noms, and Hell's Kitchen nominated with 13. Those are the biggest numbers that we had come across this time around for the Tonys. I do want to note some things as far as what was missed along the way that I'm actually quite surprised about. So we had the Notebook, and we also had The Wiz. And if you know me, I'm rooting for everybody black, right? So in regards to that, I did want to talk about the fact that there weren't any Wiz nominations really like that. Um, they kind of fell very short in regards to just everything. And as someone who saw it, I'm a little bit curious about that. I can understand where certain things weren't nominated, but I'm a bit, yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. But also in regards to that, the Notebook as well, and how they also didn't really get as much as I thought they would. Um, Considering how they were pulling at everybody's heartstrings, you know, I just really thought that there'd be more. They didn't even get. I thought they would at least get a nom for like revival. They didn't even get a nom for revival, and that was really surprising to me. I was like, they at least got a little something in the bag, but they didn't. Um, and as far as the Notebook original, like but no. And so I just want to say this because I don't want to sit on it too long. I just didn't have time to, create a different episode on noms and my reactions to those. I feel like where the Wiz was slept on was the performers. And so for me, I understand that the Wiz was, at least in the production, I don't know if what their intentions 100% were, but it wasn't this big bang production. It was something you watch, you have fun, and you go about your day. If you know me, I love the Wiz Down, the movie version, and then I was going to see it. Wasn't There was an option, and I went to go see it around like April. And so like, I know what to expect. It was funny, it was a good time, and it wasn't nothing out of the box that I knew was gonna get, like, super nominated for, but there was still great things to be presented. I think the person who played Dorothy, Nichelle Lewis, she is an amazing singer and an amazing, actress. I was surprised because she's new, to us as viewers, and she was not nominated, and I thought she would be. I Because she really knocked it out. In addition to that, Avery Wilson, who played the Scarecrow, his performance, his singing, his dancing, everything really knocked it out. And so I hope it wasn't that because the show itself there was a simplicity there. I'm not gonna, because it wasn't bad. It was just simple. I hope that they were not overshadowed by the simplicity of the musical, because I think they did a great job, and there wasn't any nod to their performance. I'm shouting those two out, but I just want to say the whole entire cast was great. Um, and I don't know. I just felt a certain type of way about that. You let me know, but that was how I felt about The Wiz. As far as the Notebook goes, there were a lot of people confused about why Mary Ann Pluckett was nominated instead of Joy Woods, because if you're on like the TikTok of the musical world and Instagram and etc., you see that they're pushing Joy Woods more. More specifically, they're pushing My Days by Joy Woods. That's their song. They're pushing that song out there like nobody's business. And so people were confused on why Joy Woods was not nominated for Best Actress in a musical. And or they say it's like best performance of a lead actress in a musical, but you're just gonna hear me saying best actress because the idea is still there. um, and if you watch the Notebook, which I did, when it comes to the acting, when it comes to who's pulling the heartstrings a bit more, it really is Marianne Pluckett. It really is her making sure that you understand how lost she feels as her character. Um, because if it just in case you don't know um what the Notebook is about, I don't want to spoil it too much here, but it is based off of the Notebook, the music, Notebook, the movie, and the of course the book. And I want you to understand that her character is someone who has Alzheimer's, and it is someone who forgets and doesn't remember the love of her life. And there's a lot of things going on with that. There's a lot to be put into place, especially on a stage. And she does that so well. She has her own songs as well too, and even those are incredibly heartbreaking. And I totally understood their nomination the minute I saw it when nominations dropped that day. There was no confusion in my mind, and I understood. And I think there was issue in there was a contrasting situation of, or more so a conflict. Marianne, they can't put Marianne and Joy Woods. That wasn't going to happen. Um, so they put Marianne. Now the results of that nomination we're going to talk about. Um, but I just want to let you know that I understand their choices and why they nominated Marianne Plunkett and why they nominated Dorian Harewood. Because when it comes to the heartbreak, the more connective emotions and feelings and the acting in it, you get it a little bit more with them. Dorian's on stage a good chunk of that time. Like he's on there a minute, and then there's a point where he finally gets a break. Same thing for Marianne as well. Even when they're not highlighted on stage, they're still on the stage having their side moment. So I get the confusion of that, but if you watch the Notebook the musical, you'll understand. I do want to say though, I just wish they had a category for like best song in a musical, because they have the song for musicals, and I feel like you would be able to get a little bit more of a nod to those moments. Um, but if we had that kind of section, so I feel like My Days would have for sure got it, because Joy does a great job at singing that song and really pushing home the point. It's the I Want song, of course, in the Notebook, and it's very beautiful. And if you haven't heard it, go check it out wherever you listen to music. And they've been promoting it in various different places, so you'll probably see it there too. In regards to that, I wanted to talk about things that happened before the Tonys, the things that were very connected to the Tonys. We had Nick Jonas and Adrienne Warren announced for the last 5 years. I'm intrigued by that. Um, I want to hear Nick as a Broadway star, not Nick the pop star. And I know he can do it, but I don't want to hear Nick when he's singing, if that makes sense. If you get me, you get me. And if you don't, you don't. But I don't want to hear Nick. I want to hear his character, and just because he has a way of singing. I don't know too much about Adrienne, but I'm very excited to see her perform in it. I have watched the last 5 years once as the movie, and it breaks my heart, and so I never watched it again. But I will try to reach out and look and see about that coming up. And then so let's go into it. Let's get right into it. So as you know, Ariana DeBose, third time hosting. She is an Oscar winner. You know Ariana as the bullet in Hamilton and so forth, so on. I knew Ariana as one of the Donnas in Donna Summer Musical before hit Broadway at La Jolla Playhouse. And the list just goes on and on and on. She won her Oscar, by the way, for being, oh my gosh, what, not me about to say. I was about to say Maria. Girl, she won her Oscar for West Side Story. And I just want to acknowledge her talent before I get into everything else. I think her playing Anita in West Side Story made such a big impact. Um, with so much other issues that was going on with West Side Story at the time, and I'm glad she didn't get kind of washed under. And but I'm saying that before we move on. So don't come for me, but I don't like Ariana's personal singing choices. Going into the Tony Award opening, I think she did, like she can dance, she can sing, she's that girl. But for some reason, there's certain choices that she makes that it kind of feels like, and once again, don't come for me, she's kind of stuck in the 70s. Um, and she has this very specific tone she always sings with. So when it comes to her hosting things, because she's hosted other stuff before, Angela Bassett did the thing. But for me personally, I can't get with her singing voice and her singing choices, and it's not even because she can't sing. Like I said, she's done West Side Story, she's done other things. It's just the personal choices she makes as Ariana DeBose does not fit well for my ears, because for me it makes it sound like she can't sing, and I know for a fact she can, but there's just certain choices she makes that I'm not a fan of. So I didn't like the song for the opening. It was a bit lackluster. I wanted more oomph to it. I feel like it had potential, but I did like the choreo, and she did note that she helped with the choreo. So I'll say that as far as the opening goes. I will say some people like her as a host, some people don't. I actually like the fact that her hosting reminds me that she's a human. And celebrities can make mistakes, and she's allowed to make mistakes. She made a lot of them. um, but I think it's just a beautiful reminder that you don't have to strive for perfection. But I do wonder, with the industry being as solidified as it is with the idea of perfection, if people look at her like, she's kind of a mess. I don't think she is, because I actually like the idea of her presenting herself as she is, and not trying to pretend to be something else. She messes up on her words. She's like, oops, look at me. Oop, goof. Like, instead of, trying to avoid it and be embarrassed by it. I like that she kind of takes it, and kind of runs with it. And I think she kind of did that even with I believe it was the BAFTA Awards, where it was Angela Bassett did the thing. She accepted it. She moved on. She goofed off with us. And it was a great time. And I feel like I would love to see, her in more roles outside of hosting. That is what I'm looking forward to for her. So let's move on. So The Outsiders won four, including Best Musical. Merrily We Roll Along won four Tonys, including Best Revival of a Musical. Stereophonic won five, including Best Play. Appropriate won three, including Best Revival of a Play. And Hell's Kitchen won two, including Lead Actress in a Musical. Suffs won two, including Best Score. So I'm going to talk about the ones that really caught my eye, the ones that I can really give more information on. And then there's going to be some that I may not mention too much. So Daniel Radcliffe, he won his first Tony. And I think that's just so cool for all the Harry Potter fans, or even if you just saw him grow up. I wouldn't consider myself a huge, huge, huge Harry Potter fan, but I saw him grow up with us, and or before us in a way. And so to see him transition out of that child actor role and to find his footing, whether it was movies or plays or musicals, I think it's really cool. Um, I am excited to see him keep flourishing. I want to see him in more musicals. I actually think that he would have been great in the last 5 years. Um, fun fact. So maybe if that ever happens in the future, I feel like that would have been a great role for him to do. But shout out to Daniel Radcliffe. For featured actress in a musical, Cassia Lewis for Hell's Kitchen. Um, First of all, I just want to be honest and completely no, I was not aware of her before. Um, but I loved what I saw in her performance. I have not had a chance to see Hell's Kitchen, so everything I say in regards to that, I say with the performances I say that in plural, that I have seen, whether it be at the Tonys or whether it be in other like morning shows, etc., that they've performed at. And I really enjoy it. I love her range. First off, she starts so low in the beginning of her song at the Tonys, and then she gets into her high notes. That tells me right there enough. I don't need to know anymore. And it's so clean cut. I loved her speech telling the story of perseverance. For me, especially being a Black woman, I love when Black women tell their stories of perseverance, and it never being too late to be seen and not giving up, and that your story will happen one day and your dreams will happen one day. And those really, really, really hit home for me, as someone who is an aspiring artist and someone who does have high hopes and high dreams. And so I'm excited that she's finally having her moment, and I hope that her moment continues, and I hope she continues to shine and be seen. We got Illinois for Best Choreography by Justin Peck. I do want to say this, and this wasn't just for choreo; it was for a few other things. But I'm gonna nod for choreo because, as you know, I'm a dancer. If you are going to put some respect on creators, I'm going to need you to put some respect on them during the show. I don't know what the answer is. I know we lose a lot of time here and there. If that means certain things get cut short, I'm not going to, this is not shady, but if that means that's the opening number, and certain things like that, then do that. Um, but choreographers deserve their moment of shine too. And it actually makes me really frustrated and really angry because choreography makes the biggest moments of the show, not just the show on Broadway, but the Tonys. So for you to highlight choreo and just have this big show and pizzazz and then dust off the choreographers on the side, I don't know how I feel about that because they deserve to say their speech on stage just as much as anyone else. They're just as important as the director. And I say the same thing in regards to all the other categories that had to accept their award pre-show. I think it's something that needs to be addressed because when I found out choreo specifically, I was I was very confused considering what a big deal it plays a part of the Broadway community. I didn't understand that. But in regards to choreo though, this is not Tony Award related. But I want to give a shout out to Tilly Evans Kruger from The Outsiders, who won the Cheetah Rivera Outstanding Dancer Award. I was able to watch The Outsiders, and I could not take my eyes off of her as a dancer. Like I was always looking for her in the audience, and so it's 100% deserved. I just wanted to give that out there. But speaking of The Outsiders, I'm not surprised about this either. Best direction of a musical goes to The Outsiders, with Danya Taymor. Girl, you ate that up. I'm just gonna say that, girl, girl. Um, I just, I was sitting there, I was sitting in the audience like, I need to know how your mind works. I really do. I want to see you direct some more stuff, Danya. I really do. In addition to lighting as well, lighting also won for Outsiders for best lighting. I want to know how your minds work. I want to know what made you consider these things and how you put this stuff together. And I just want to sit. I want to be a fly on the wall because the way these choices were made, and if you watch the Tony performance, you're not going to understand what I'm talking about because they were not able to give everything that they can give to a Tony performance. They gave the best they could though. Um, for the Tonys, I think they highlighted more of like, I would say that their goal was to highlight the characters, like the story, and their goal was to highlight the choreo. I would say that seemed to be their goal from my perspective. Um, but you're not going to catch all the direction because we didn't get the full scenic, right? So just consider those things. Take take it all, take in the performance with a little bit of pieces here and there, but I highly suggest you go and watch it if you can. It be expensive. I was able to go watch it because I got the tickets on a oh my gosh, lottery system. So with telecharge. So I I don't know. It was a pleasant surprise for me. with The Outsiders. It was not on my list. I don't know the show, sorry, the book that well. It was not something I just happened to go. I got the tickets. I was like, okay, I'm gonna check it out, and I think if I hadn't watched it, I probably also would have been. So that's why I recommend that you go check it out. So you're not confused. It really deserved it. It really deserved it. And yeah, I don't want to dwell on it too much. As you see, I'm a big fan, but we're gonna move on. Best book of musical, it goes to Suffs. So Suffs was a surprise to me, and I feel like maybe that's one of the shows I need to go see. Like I just said, like how The Outsider. If I wouldn't have seen it, I wouldn't have understood. And I think I don't understand Suffs 100% for me. Even watching the Tony performance, I here's what I can say: I get why people like it. It's very typical um Broadway musical kind of like kind of classic vibes to it. Um, I just don't think the storyline would be of my interest 100%. And even with the music, I'm like still it won best score as well. So congratulations to everybody involved with that. But it just wasn't my cup of tea personally. But you might like it. You might understand it. So I would just say check it out. I may go watch it. I don't know. I just have some other priorities. I want to see Hell's Kitchen first, and then I want to see Illinois first, and I still haven't seen Great Gatsby. There's a lot of things. Speaking of Great Gatsby, they won Best Costume Design. That's literally the only thing. And they weren't nominated for a lot of things. I was really surprised by that due to how hmm, their cast isn't really like celebrity, but they're big Broadway names. Um, so I was kind of shook. I don't know if I need to go see it to understand why they missed what they missed, but what I have seen, it seems to be a big deal. Like, costume wise, they won, which is great. Scenic wise, um, even like music, I don't know. I was really confused about that. But um next time, I guess. I don't know. I don't understand that one 100%. But I am excited to see it. It's on my list ASAP as soon as I can. I'm also trying to get lottery for that too because I'm a Broadway on a budget. All right, we're going to move on. Best scenic design goes to Cabaret at the Kit Kat Club. I'm not going to understand that until I see it. And that's just something I understand. I get it. They only can give so much at the Tonys, and it's not going to be scenic. So, um, I trust in that process. I trust that it was awesome. And we're gonna move on. We have best sound design with The Outsiders as well. We have best play. It goes to Stereophonic. I will admit I was a bit confused at first, but I had to like open my eyes and get it. So Stereophonic had a performance, and I was like, they're a play. Got it. Boom. A play that still has music and singing. Okay, boom. And I had to get to it. I had to understand. I was like, okay, here's the thing. Stereophonic isn't considered musical maybe because like their songs don't advance the plot or express the character's emotions because it's people singing an album. That's what people have said. But I'm also gonna say that it maybe is the fact that the music doesn't really consist of a good chunk of the musical as well. Because especially their performance was really short. So I'm assuming that's what it kind of looked like around like few songs here, few songs there, so I can understand that. Maybe there's a percentage that needs to be involved. Moving on, I wanted to talk about Jaja's African hair braiding. They won costume design in a play. So I realized one specific costume design for a musical one for Great Gatsby. I didn't get to watch Jaja's. I'm actually really sad about that. I missed them. And I hope that I get to see them again one day. I don't know. It would be different. Of course, it'd be a different version, but it was something I was very intrigued by. Um, and then we have Best Revival of a Play goes to Appropriate. We go into Best Actor in a Play goes to Jeremy Strong for Enemy of the People. That's where we get like the kind of like the stardom, celebrity TV movie kind of tying in with Broadway. Congratulations to him. We have Best Revival of a Musical going to Merrily We Roll Along. And what I'm intrigued about that was one plot twist. I also haven't seen that. And I don't know much about Merrily We Roll Along either, which is why I wasn't really catching my attention. If you know something about me, and if you've ever listened to my other Broadway based episodes on this podcast, I'm more of a current contemporary musical girl. I don't really listen to like the classics, and what I consider classics may not be what you consider classics. Um, but I do, um, yeah, I don't dabble too much. So with that being said, um, I didn't know too much about Merrily We Roll Along other than the fact of who was in it, and I was like, okay, I'm intrigued. I just, I just hadn't found time yet, time or money, but right. Um, so like I said, Daniel won, and then we're gonna talk about Jonathan next, of course, and um, they seem like such a great team and such a great cast. Um, I'm not talking about performances just yet because I want to get through all of the official like awards just so I could really sit with them. But Daniel, Jonathan, and Lindsay, like I want to be part of their group. It just seems like they're such a great team and they care about each other, and it just seems like such a positive environment to be in. So congratulations to them be getting best revival of a musical as well. Um, Next up was Jonathan Groff. Jonathan Groff did win Best Lead in a play. In a musical. But and as you know, Best Performance by a Lead Actor. You know, I thought he had won a Tony already. And so I'm so glad he finally got his moment because if you would have asked me, I would have said, oh, yeah, he got that for Hamilton once. Nope, he sure didn't. This is his first Tony, and I loved his speech. It was very heartfelt, very connected, very much, trying, giving yourself a chance. The people around you giving you a chance and believing in what you believe in. And it was just very beautiful. And seeing him and Daniel hug, Daniel rushing to him and hugging him before he even got on stage was a very beautiful moment. We had Carrie Young win for featured actress in a play for Purely Victorious. This was her third consecutive year to be nominated in that category, so I'm glad she finally got her flowers. It was a beautiful wordless moment between her and Wendell Pierce, where they had their heads just touching, and you know, it was just a very silent understanding. I get it. I saw what was being said as someone who who's black, and I get it. There's a lot to be said in that I don't want to dive into. Um, but there's a lot to get to that stage. It takes a lot to get to that stage for us. And so that moment was just really, really beautiful and really connected. I love that she added comedy to her speech with the truth of what Harvard takes from your community. And she talks about how her parents were taking her to class, to a party, to a different dance class, to a singing class. And I'm glad she nodded to that. Moving on, I wanted to talk about Suffs. I kind of already mentioned it, but the score. I want to talk about the score a little bit more. Um, I want to hear the rest of it. I need to confirm if they dropped their cast album recording, but I need to hear it. The Tony performance didn't convince me enough, um, but I'm not knocking it away. I just need to hear it. That's all. Um, Then we move into Sarah Paulson. She wins for best actress in a play. Um, that's her first Tony as well, and I think she's been eating her acting game up across the board for so long. I just assumed she had so much already. um, so I'm so glad she got her Tony. And you correct me if I'm wrong. She's now halfway to an EGOT at this point. And with the right role, I have no doubt that she would get an Oscar. If she doesn't have, I don't think she has an Oscar. I don't think I'm not tripping, right? Because I can't think of a movie that she had an Oscar for. Um, Now she might have been nominated, but I don't think she ever won. Yeah. Yeah, she's halfway confirmed. So I just think with the right role, she's there. She already has it. She just needs the right role. And if she wants to give a little tune for a Grammy, it's possible. Um, and then we had Malia Joy Moon win for Best Actress in a Musical. I loved her speech. I love people coming up who were never seen before. She is newer on the block, as they say, and I'm glad that she's getting her flowers early as she deserves so. I cannot wait to see Hell's Kitchen. I want to see it so bad. I've been wanting to see it for a very long time before it even hit Broadway when it was at the Public Theater, and just was never able to get to it yet. Once again, I need things on budget budget funds, and of course waiting for it to go on Broadway didn't make it any better, but I'm Really excited to see what comes of it and what comes of her career more specifically. So Malia, shout out to you. And then I wanted to give a note. I said it earlier, but best musical goes to The Outsiders. As I said before, I get it. The music, the lighting, the choreo, the direction. It came from La Jolla Playhouse, and if you know me, I'm from UC San Diego. That's where I went to college, so I was at La Jolla Playhouse quite often, and I'm a stick beside them. I believe in the work that they do, and the product that they put out, and now we see it. I want to give a note to something I haven't mentioned yet in regards to The Outsiders. The Outsiders really is like the elemental play, not play musical. And the reason I say that is what you don't see in regards to scenic, in regards to direction, is they've got dirt, they've got fire, they've got water, and they've got air. The way that they use their stage every single night, some days 2 days in a singular day, it's really 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 cool to see. Like I said, I was pleasantly surprised, and it's now one of my favorite musicals to watch. Am I playing their music all the time? No, because I also don't do like really sad musicals all the time. And if you know the story, you know the story. But everything had meaning to it, and I really hope, I think it's worth it. I really hope they record it. I really hope they have a video recording of it so other people could see what they were capable of doing on stage, because it's really worth it. So if you can, really really go check it out. So, Hell's Kitchen performance. We're going to talk about performances. Not in a specific order. I'm just going to kind of go off of how I perceive them um in my notes here. So, Hell's Kitchen performance. We got a little surprise, but I'm going to talk about what happened before the surprise. So, I appreciated the choices as someone who has not watched it yet. I can understand it and see where they're going with it. The mom and dad combo was great. I hmm, I love a good chemistry. I love romance. I love all of those things. And it's something about them sitting across from the table, once again, direction choices, and just being close, but still far. And the way they were standing, it was just really, it was really nice. I liked it. It was cute. Um, and then I love how they incorporated all of their ensemble. I love how they honed in once again on Kassia's moment and Malia's moment together. I loved it all. It made me more excited to watch it. Um, I love Camille Brown, so I'm excited to see more of her choreography. She did not win, but it was a hard one this year, as they had said. There were a lot of new drops, so it was a fight for the Tonys. But one day she'll get her flowers, as she should. I thought she had won one already for Once on This Island. Apparently, that was not the case. So one day she will definitely get that Tony that she deserves. The surprise that we got, Empire State of Mind with the ensemble plus Jay Z and Alicia Keys. Am I surprised that Alicia Keys started performing? No, I'm not. That tends to be a case. Sarah Bareilles started it. Maybe Lynn, technically before that. I would say Lynn before that, of course, but Sarah really stuck with it a little bit more. I don't know. And I'm not even gonna lie, team. I teared up a bit because there's something so beautiful about that song, and then having them come back and sing it together. It's been such a long time for me since that song dropped. So much has changed since then, as I have no doubt it has for you as well. And now that I live in New York as well, just really connecting back to the dreams, all those people who are making their dreams come true at the Lincoln Center that night, and even making their dreams come true, whether they win an award or not, just being able to be in the presence of that, to be able to sit at the Tonys and be nominated, or be in a show that's nominated, or just be in a show. The song does hit really different now, but I was, no matter what I say and how creators put themselves in their pieces. Um, I I enjoyed it. Jay-Z and Alicia did what they needed to do. It hyped up the audience. I did see someone recommend. I think it was via New York Times. They were like, "Oh, that should have been the opening." I think that would have been cool. I think they should. How some award shows open with the show, whether it's Hell's Kitchen or Merrily We Roll Along, etc., etc. I think they should do that. I don't think we always need this big opener by the host. I think that's something that they should consider. I don't know. That's just my personal opinion. Moving on, we had Water for Elephants. That's another show that's on my list that I have yet to see. But what I did see is exactly what I expected. I'm not even gonna hold you. I expected a lot of tricks. I expected a lot of flips. I expected really cool choreography. And that's exactly what we got. I wasn't surprised by anything, but I will say is I love that we get to see Grant Gustin actually be in his full Broadway boy mode. I'm a Gleek. Yes, I am. And if you are as well, nothing will ever nothing will ever match him singing with Naya Rivera. May she rest in peace. And they sung Smooth Criminal with that violin in the back. Oh my goodness. So I'm excited to see him back on stage, like, as a singer. Again, out of his flash moment. Um, did it pull me to go see it a little bit more? Hell's Kitchen's still at the top of my list, but I kept intrigued. I kept intrigued. I think it's the music for me. And there's no shade to the music. It's just me personally. Like I said, I'm more of a contemporary girl when it comes to musicals. And sometimes when it feels very old fashioned, I'm kind of away from it. Um, but the cast, the ensemble did what they needed to do. And I love that a lot of the performances this year was very cast and ensemble heavy. We had Merrily We Roll Along. As I said before, I don't really know too much about it. It only caught my eye because of the cast, as I also said. The performance, ooh, I get it. I talked about who won, and I get it. I get it. I feel like Lindsay should have, um, you know, it's hard. It was hard this year. No, yeah, it was hard this year. But she had a strong shot. Everybody, quite frankly, did. And the acting on top of the singing, it was just I want to watch it so bad now. I still don't know what that show was about, and I want to watch it so bad because they did everything. And I just want to say I love Daniel Radcliffe singing. I have never not loved Daniel Radcliffe, but I think I have found a space to love him more. Because I've never seen him sing before, and that was really, really, really cool. Um, in a sense of I was just sitting there amazed. Just I don't know. I like his tone. He has a really nice tone. Um, and then we go into Illinois performance. So if you don't know about Illinois, it's gonna throw you off. That was one that I did research before because I had literally heard nothing about it until it hit the stage. Um, it is mainly a dance musical. Let me explain. If you have not seen the performance, you're not gonna understand it. So let me break it down. There is singing in the back. There are singers in the back. And I say in the back, they're on stage, of course, but they are not the main moment. The dancers are not singing. I'll repeat, the dancers are not singing. They are also the actors. There is like a band who sings. They are not the main moment. This is repeating. And there are dancers who are the main moment. There is not a lot of speaking involved throughout this musical as well. This is what I know. This is what I researched. I know this for a fact. I also know my friend went. So with that being said, if you're not a dancer, if you're not, and what I mean by that is like a dancer lover, a lover of dance, if you know you need a little pizzazz, a 5, 6, 7, 8, bam, it's not for you. For me, I don't need that. Um, I am a contemporary dancer girl on top of being a contemporary musical girl, and it was already on my list because I was like, ooh, a musical with mainly dancing, like I'm intrigued. Watching it, I get it. Like I get it. I understand. I It was really beautiful. Justin, you did what you needed to do. I want to emphasize how important and difficult it is to dance. Um because it's not you're just a dancer, you're also an actor. And the way those dancers, actors performed on that stage and put so much in, just beautiful. And we don't get to see contemporary be reflected on Broadway that much, and I love that we did get to see it. And they did that specific one. I haven't seen the rest of them, but I'm glad that they chose what they did to perform at the Tonys last night, or in this case scenario a few days ago by the time I drop it. um and once again, that's why I get very frustrated when choreographers and dancers don't get their flowers. because they make a huge impact, and it's not easy to dance every single day and also perform with your body in your face every single day. Um, and yeah, I just want to say it was up my speed and style. I felt it. The music was also good. Um, but once again, like I said, it may be for you and it may not be for you. So you kind of have to take everything I'm saying with a grain of salt because I have my personal preferences. But I really did enjoy it watching it. Next up, we also have the cabaret performance. Once again, don't get me. What I mean by that is I had to do cabaret in high school. I have never been able to listen to cabaret or think about it or look at it the same again. And if you're a performer, you get exactly what I mean. That doesn't mean I don't like cabaret. That just means I can't tolerate it anymore. And so for me, I've heard it all. I've seen it all. And we had studied it. I've seen various performances of it before even this one. And so seeing it, I was just kind of like, it's cabaret, you know? So it was decent. It was good. It wasn't a bad performance. I just wasn't impacted by it. And that's me personally, because I've seen other people say something different. I will say Eddie's physical acting was great. I hadn't seen him yet be a performer on a stage, and I liked it. I am intrigued by their take on his character in this version of Cabaret and why those physical choices weren't being made. Um, I would need to watch the show to understand that a little bit more. I don't know if I will see it. I'm going to be quite honest with you. But what we did see, I I was impressed by in the sense of it's very Broadway. It was decent. I get it. I understand it. I wasn't wowed, but that was, I think, it's my personal feelings on Cabaret. But if you do enjoy Cabaret, go check it out because I think you would enjoy it. I think they did a great job. Moving on to Stereophonic, while they are a play, they do have music, so they did perform. I don't have really much to say about it. It was very Daisy Jones and the Six. Um, I don't know the storyline too much, but the storyline does give very Daisy Jones and the Six from what I do know. I did like it. I want to check out their cast album if they have one. Um, I don't know if they would drop one. I feel like they should though. I don't think it matters if they're a play or musical. They have music in it. So yeah, I do want to know more. Going into Seth's performance, what the things I was surprised about for Seth's. I talked a bit about my feelings and takes on it earlier, but I was surprised that they presented more inclusivity. It was more than I thought it would be. I'm not even gonna hold you. I heard about Suffs and I automatically assumed we were gonna see mainly white women on that stage. I mean, that was the case scenario. But that's quite frankly the case scenario for many Broadway shows. But more importantly, though, I literally thought more so it would be all white women on that stage. And I'm glad that we got, someone in a wheelchair. I'm glad that we got someone wearing a suit, which entails a specific story. I'm glad that we did see people of color on that stage. Once again, I think it makes sense. I understand the idea of stuffs, and it makes sense for a musical. It makes sense for Broadway in the United States of America. For me personally, I don't know if I would enjoy it. So that's why I don't know if I would go see it, but I understand the performance and I get it. And I'm just gonna leave it there. If you enjoyed it, I love that. I didn't say I didn't, but for me, it's just not my personal cup of tea as far as musicals go. But it wasn't bad. And then I keep talking about The Outsiders. I feel so bad, but it is what it is, The Outsiders performance, I appreciated their choices. If you follow me on TikTok, I kind of dropped questions about it. And it's not easy to get everything that they have in there, to show off everything that they are worth, winning for Best Musical, Best Lighting, Best Direction, etc. But I think what they did well. It seemed very obvious that they were highlighting the choreo, as I said. It seemed very obvious that they were trying to highlight each, like their big characters, specifically the ones who were nominated for Tonys, and then also to nominating. To be fair, though, I feel like they did give the direct, like the nod to direction towards the end, for the rumble, the rain scene. And if you haven't watched it, go watch it, go check it out. When I say they're the Elemental musical, that's exactly what I mean. In addition to other things, there's a fire. Um, like I said, there's a wind section where they're fighting the fighting the wind. There's the habitat of the musical gets very windy. Um, they also have dirt, or it might be sand. Visually, I'm not 100% sure, but I think it's meant to represent dirt. Um, in the musical as well, and that plays a part in their choreo, in their direction, and how they use that sand and um, dirt, and how they apply it into telling the story as well. So I do think that I wasn't expecting what they did choose, but I'm not mad at their choices. Um, I do think, or I understand why they didn't. I just had this process right now. I thought that they were going to perform Great Expectations. And I would say that is their big song. That is their I Want song for the outsiders. Um, but if they did, it wouldn't have hit the same. There would have been a lot of lighting changes that would have needed to be done because they didn't have the scenic design. Um, so I get it. I understand. I get it. I was processing. I was like, I would have loved to see Great Expectations be performed, but I get it. And I don't know if there's any snippets out there with the Great Expectations performance, but I would say go check them out if you so you can understand a bit more of what I'm saying in regards to lighting and director's choices for that. But it's a beautiful song either way, so go check it out for their cast album recording. I don't know if the full album is out yet, but the great I keep saying but Great Expectations is out, as well as Stay Gold. I think that's really beautiful too. But once again, I think their purpose was to highlight their whole ensemble, and I love that they even included their their understudies and their swings, etc., into it. So I don't think they were going to perform Stay Gold. I don't even think that was even really an option, because that's very person to person. And everything seemed to be very ensemble focused. Every single performance, those three songs, three sequences, etc. Um, I did want to give a nod to the Cheetah Rivera performance. I want to give a nod to the We Got a West Side Story moment. Once again, back to Ariana DeBose. I just want to remind you, Homegirl can dance. I do want to say, tell me if I'm wrong. Did she almost kick the camera? Because there was a moment I kind of like looked away for a second, and like she screamed, or not like screamed, but did like a moment. And I don't know if it was to match the vibe, because that makes sense for what she was performing, or if she literally almost kicked the camera because she was very close to the camera and her leg went up and she said, and then, whatever happened, it was smoothly done to the point where I have to ask and double confirm. So who's to say? I also want to give some random mentions to some things that happened. One, I didn't know that Hillary Duff. I'm like, Hillary Duff. Oh my gosh. That's how you know she stays on my mind plate. I love you, Hillary. But you're not the Hillary I meant to talk about. Hillary Clinton. I didn't know Hillary Clinton was a producer for Stuffs. She made a little surprise appearance really quick to bring them on stage. I was not prepared. I don't think anybody was. So shout out to Hillary for showing up. The hair was herring, by the way. She looked good. Um, and then Angelina Jolie. I also didn't know that she was a producer for Outsiders. So now she's a winner. She's a winner. She's also halfway to an EGOT now. Um, I would like to say though, this has been happening quite often a bit where celebrities have been producing musicals and getting their Tonys. And I just feel like I understand. Sure, I get it. I love you, Jennifer Hudson. But I feel like you can get on that stage and win it a different way outside of producing. And I think that's what Jennifer's trying to do, because she is coming soon to Broadway. I would say, yeah, again. um to perform. So that's kind of my recap on the Tonys. I am very fresh to this. I'm very new to this. There are a lot of things that I haven't watched yet, and a lot of things I'm very excited to see and come across. I can only hope that with time, with experience, etc., I can give you even more to talk about and more to dive in on in regards to what's coming up around the corner. Speaking of what's coming around the corner, though, I do want to talk about shows to be excited for. Now that this season, award season for the Tony has wrapped up, I do want to mention some things that are coming up very, very soon. Specifically this year, I don't want to mention 2025 just yet, but I do want to mention what's happening from now until the end of 2024. So we have something called Oh Mary coming out, officially opening in July, previews in June. We have something called Job opening up in July, and previews also in July. We have Once Upon a Mattress. That is with Sutton Foster, Yuri. So that's gonna be previewing in July, end of July, opening up in August. We have The Roommate. Patty LaPone is coming back to Broadway. I'm actually kind of surprised about that, and I'm gonna lie, because she was a little angry at them not too long ago. And didn't she take herself out of the equity? Am I tripping about that? I don't know. But she's coming back. So that's in The Roommate. That's gonna be opening in September. We have something called McNeil, starring Robert Downey, Mr. Jr. I'm excited about that, Robert. Okay, Robert. Um, ooh, I love it when he showcases his acting ability. I feel like yes, we loved him in Iron Man, but the way he's been stumping on everybody since he's been done with that, as he should. We have something called The Hills of California. Um, it seems to be a new play comes to Broadway following its acclaimed run in London's West End. So I haven't heard about it, but I'm intrigued now that I know that's coming from the West End. So I'll look it up more later. We have Our Town that is dropping in October, opening in October specifically. We have Maybe Happy Ending. That is a science fiction musical about the developing relationships between two robots. Yes, so that's Darren Chris and Helen J. Shen. I'm excited to see Darren back at it again. I've seen slight snippets of Maybe Happy Ending, kind of like like the little promotion that they do have, and I'm very intrigued to see like the physical acting in regards to that. So I you will be catching me. It is a revival. I did not know about it before, but it does have potential to win best revival. The biggest one I feel like that everyone talks is talking about is Romeo and Juliet. If you don't know, it's with Kit Connor and Rachel Zegler. That's my girl. Don't come for her ever. And so that's dropping in October. First preview in September. I will be trying to see that 100%. Sunset Boulevard. That's the next one. Andrew Lloyd Webber. The last one we had from Andrew, it did not make the mark. I'm so sorry I can't remember the name because there were so many princess musicals that happened at the exact same time. But it did not hit. But I did watch it, but it didn't make it. So Sunset Boulevard is coming in, and actually, I might be a little Oh, okay, I see. It's a musical adaptation of Billy Wilder's classic film. So, well, yeah, we'll see. I haven't watched that movie before, but maybe I'll check it out. We have Yellowface opening in October. We have A Wonderful World opening in November. Immediately I knew, based off of musician Louis Armstrong. It's already premiered in Miami Beach and it's begun moving around through New Orleans, and it's gonna be coming here. We have Tammy Faye dropping in November. We have Death Becomes Her, based off of the movie, the dark comedy film about eternal youth, opening November 21st. Um, Auditions are happening soon, by the way, for that, for my artists out there. Check it out on playbill.com/jobs. And then we have Gypsy. So that's returning to Broadway. And then Audra is returning to Broadway. And I'm intrigued. I'm excited of the potential to see Audra in person. So I'm gonna definitely try to get tickets for that. But once again, Broadway on a budget, girl. We have a Eureka Day. I'm gonna say that that's it. Um, Based off of what I'm seeing about it, I don't know. But, that'll be first previews November 25th. And then from everything else, it's in January, so I'm not gonna mention it. I will say I'm excited to see what comes of this next season. Um, I'm curious about the future of Broadway and what it looks like. With so many musicals coming in and out the doors these days, I don't know if their goal is to have so many changes or what their motive is around that. I will say though that whatever shows do great deserve to exist, you know. There have been cancellations which open the doors for many of the shows to exist right now. But there were a lot of cancellations last year that closed a lot of doors for people even with success rates in those musicals. So, yeah. But you tell me, what did you think about the Tonys? What did you think about the nominations? What did you think about the awards? What did you think about the performances? What did you think about the hosting? Did you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? You're totally allowed to disagree with me. Just be nice about it. We don't gotta, be balling. They're just opinions here. um, but definitely let me know whether you're contacting me via the Introvert Social Hour on TikTok or you're responding to the Q&As here. Thank you so much for tuning in and sharing the joy of theater with me. I cannot wait for the day, once again, that I'm able to see every single show that I want to go to, and I hope and I dream for that for you as well. Um, Thank you for listening. Make sure you share, like, and follow this podcast. Send it to a friend, a family member, a loved one. Follow me at Kavana on Instagram to get podcast updates and at the Introvert Social Hour on TikTok. Get some sunshine, get some air. Have an amazing week. I will see you next week on the Introvert Social Hour. Thanks for joining. Bye.